Stay tuned. It's a story of three, a jug of warm wine, and surviving till dawn. The eerie silence was broken as the veteran said, "The liberation army is charging, run." But he replied, "No, surrendering by raising hands is the way to win now." As long as they surrendered, they'd get captured, but at least they could go home. While waiting for the Liberation Army, Chunsheng was excitedly talking about that car he couldn't stop dreaming about. Fuegui wandered, and they found a field of frozen casualties. Chunsheng said, "We've got to make it back." No sooner had he spoken than the Liberation Army charged, taking the veterans' advice to lie flat and surrender. Captured, they performed shadow puppets for the Liberation Army, aiding the revolution. Chunsheng stayed to drive for the army, while Fuegui eagerly returned home. Dusty and weary, but with a heart full of longing, Fuegui finally returned to his hometown at dawn. Seeing his lonely daughter on the deserted street, he was speechless for a while. Then, after a long wait, he summoned courage to call, "Fengxia. Fengxia, Fengxia. Calling for you." Pick up the phone. What in a moment of dazed cluelessness, his sharp-witted daughter could only stare at him with a silly grin and ask, "What are you doing? Where's Mom?" Fuegui looked as if he'd just been abducted by aliens, but his gaze was locked onto his wife, whose eyes overflowed with tears, and he never expected to see her again in this lifetime. Jiazheng, this once ordinary name, felt like it had crossed centuries. Fuegui dashed towards her, and they embraced tightly as Jiazheng finally let her pent-up frustrations overflow, weeping on his shoulder. Ignoring the bustling crowd, they were engrossed in each other. In Fuegui's 2-year absence, Jiazheng had kept their family afloat. Unfortunately, Jiazheng passed away sick, never getting to see her son one last time. Fuegui felt the choke in his throat, his gaze brimming with profound concern and immense love for his daughter. As he looked at her, he simply gazed back with a goofy smile. Fuegui smiled, tears brimming. Unable to face his daughter, Jiazheng beside him also wept. A few days later, the square bustled with Long Er's trial. She was pleased and surrendered her properties. She burnt Fuegui's lost house, found guilty, and on her way to execution, glared at Fuegui fiercely. Long Er kept staring her down, yelling something loudly, and it sent a shiver down Fuegui's spine. When she discovered their home had been classified as town civilians, she let out a sigh. Had she not lost the house to Long Er back then, she might have been the one facing doom today. Time flies. It was now 1950. To answer the country's call, every household donated pots, and communal dining halls flourished. But today, their son Yaoqing caused trouble. A few days ago, Yaoqing's mute sister was bullied by nasty kids. He charged in to defend her, but facing four was no easy feat. In the end, Yaoqing was battered into looking like a panda, and all Fuegui and Jiazheng could do was apologize, but the other party wasn't having any of it. "This is sabotaging the communal dining hall. This is a serious crime." It looked like things were about to blow. Fuegui forced Yaoqing to apologize. "Go. What are you doing?" But Yaoqing was stubbornly defiant. "I'm asking again, are you going?" Fuegui seethed with rage. He was so mad he grabbed his shoe and hit hard. At home, Jiazheng scolded him for hitting. Those kids were picking on the volunteers. Maybe it's time to teach him a lesson. When Fuegui learned the truth, he felt ashamed and hurried to comfort his son. "Don't cry anymore, let's go eat. I'll sing a show for you tonight." But Yaoqing rolled his eyes, saying, "What a lame show." That evening, Fuegui sang a shadow play, still thinking of Yaoqing, wishing Jiazheng would call him to watch. Jiazheng suddenly had a brilliant idea. She added chili and vinegar to the water, hoping to prank Fuegui. When Yaoqing handed the water, Fuegui was engrossed, unnoticing. "Kid, you expect me to drink this?" As Fuegui chased after him, cursing, the neighbors burst out laughing, turning it into one of the warmest scenes in the film. But this warmth was soon to be interrupted. In the morning, Fuegui and Fengxia brought dumplings back, only to find the kids still snoozing. In this intense deal-making period, kids worked as hard as adults. Fengxia felt sorry for them and didn't want to disturb, but nearby kids came to announce the district chief will inspect the school. Fengxia wanted Yaoqing to rest, but Fuegui felt they couldn't fall behind, so he roused sleepily Yaoqing. Before leaving, Jiazheng even packed up Yaoqing's favorite dumplings. Unbeknownst to them, as they set off, they were heading toward what would become an eternal goodbye. That night, Fuegui sang his shadow play when a crowd burst into the steel factory. The teacher asked the town mayor, "Has the district chief been to the school?" The district chief, riding a motorcycle, backed up and accidentally knocked down the school wall. Little did anyone know, Yelking had fallen asleep right behind that wall, and half the bricks landed on him. The situation spun out of control. On hearing the news, Fugui felt struck by lightning, his legs giving way. The rooftop light suddenly shone bright. Before he could prepare, he saw his son's cold body shattering Fugui's world. "I never wanted you to follow me," he gasped, barely able to utter, "Dad is coming. I beg you with all my heart, please don't leave me behind. Please, oh please, come back to your father's side. Yelking, Yelking." Zhejiang cried uncontrollably, and the Tanmeo worried she wouldn't be able to bear the shock. He immediately had people take her away, and in the end, Zhejiang didn't even get to see her son one last time. And so a new grave appeared in the mountains, while Fugui and Zhejiang carried a wound that would never heal in their heart. On this day, Zhejiang made dumplings, his favorite, as if to tell him, Yelking, "Eat your fill." Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.